DM073 Gaming is brought to you by Happy Little Hug Factory. If you're looking for pre-orders of the upcoming sets, including singles or booster boxes of previous sets that have come out, you can check the link down below. Happy Little Hug Factory also has a buy list for Force of Will, so you can get rid of those extra cards you have laying around and turn it into new upcoming product. Thanks so much, guys. Check them out and enjoy the video. Hey there guys, this is DM073 here, bringing you the deck list for the Black-White Aimul Inverse list from Tyler. This is a very good place, I think, to start with Aimul if you're looking to play these inverses. She definitely has a lot of resiliency, more than I initially gave her credit for, and I think she just is a pretty fun overall ruler. But if you want to get started and play this very heavy inverse route, I definitely recommend checking this list out to serve as kind of your launching point. But with that, let's go ahead and dig in. So obviously, Princess of Fleeting Hope is our ruler. Judgment's for double white, energize white black, and then for pay 0 you can recover target resonator during your opponent's turn and only once per turn. So this can be used to protect your own stuff from being attacked. This can be used to prevent your opponent's stuff from recovering. People are saying that you can use this as a counter to Lumia if you're already maining Aimul to be able to stop her flicker effect, so it's pretty interesting there. Flips over into Aimul, 3/3 flying imperishable human with drain, so whenever you deal damage you gain that much life. When it enters the field, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put a non-chance card, this can be a addition or a creature, with total cost 3 or less from among them into the field. Then you can invert it if you would like. And then the rest go on the bottom of your deck in any order. She gains +2/+2 for every inverse entity. So this is Resonator, Addition, or her inverse stone after it's flipped. So she's got a lot of resilience. She kind of keeps coming back, and eventually she gets to a point where she's just very, very large and can help you kind of recover all the potential life you've lost in the early game. Moving into the creatures, we play... Actually, let's go to the stones first. So we've got Magic Stone of Hope and Magic Stone of Despair. On the front, it produces white, and then when you do invert, it produces black or white, and it counts as an inverse entity for the sake of Aimul. Most of your cards are going to be white on the front side anyway. Most of the cards in this deck are base white, so you don't necessarily need to worry about having the black source super early. So the stone is pretty good in that sense, where after you flipped, then you're going to want to probably start using those darkness effects or like playing cards that involve more darkness and stuff. So it's cool to kind of get that extra bonus when the stone on its front side is primarily base white, and that's what primarily the deck is. And we play 4 Heaven's Rift for black-white sources, and then 2 Shadowy Light Magic Stones for, again, darkness and light. Moving into the Resonators, we play 4 Angel of Hope and Angel of Despair. On the front, it's a 2/3 with Flying and Drain. Inverts if you do Judgment, and whenever you gain life, you put a +1/+1 on it. And then when it flips, it becomes a 4/5 still with Flying, loses the Drain, but if it inverts, it destroys a Resonator if there's a 1/1 counter on it. So keep in mind, this is a mandatory effect. So if your opponent doesn't have any cards on the field, you have to kill one of your own guys. It is a mandatory thing. Next up, we have the Twisted Unicorn. It's a 6/6 for 2 that flips into a 8/6, and when it inverts, you destroy target Resonator with attack less than this card's attack. So keep that in mind. It is a mandatory trigger, and it's not equal to or less, it's specifically less. So just gotta be mindful. It can be a nice little kill spell with 800 attack that can be pretty good. But again, you still have to keep in mind that you might have to kill your own stuff, which is never really good for you. 3 Joan d'Arc Mad Maiden. We are a creature-based deck and in darkness, so it's pretty obvious that we're going to play Jean. She can be a really huge powerhouse that just can't ever die. Helps you deal with a lot of J-Ruler potentially, especially in this format where I think J-Rulers are going to be used a lot. So Jean being able to just say, nope, they were going to go ahead and punish you, and make it so your J-Ruler can't ever flip again, or you don't have to worry about it, I think is very, very good. Gil Lapis, we've talked about him before, very strong, lots of really good consistency for the deck with Flourishing Hope and Thought Control and Miscalculation. Other decks can use him for a lot of other different cards, but I think you could sideboard a lot of those cards for this deck, like Final Battle or other things like that, and then just have Gil Lapis grab them as you need them. Grim of the Crimson Moon, excellent card for this, mainly because he generates his own inversion. Like you saw in the feature match, he can swing, generate 2 counters, and then do Judgment immediately and invert this and just kill anything. 7/7 with Flying and Barrier White-Black, those are very strong colors right now. It protects him from both of the major stoning to deaths that exist in the format, so he's very, very resilient. The Fairy Tale effect really isn't that valuable, but at the same time, his flip into Grim Hope of the Future becomes a 10/10, also with Flying and Barrier White-Black, and then you just kill anything. And then your cards in your opponent's graveyard lose all abilities, which I think is also very, very good. Jekyll misses Hyde, 3-drop 7/8. Pay 1 less to do Judgment. So if you have 2 of these on the field, you can technically Judgment for free. Just keep that in mind. That's pretty cool. Flips over into Mrs. Hyde, who can't be attacked. Keep that in mind. And other inverses you control gain +4/+4. So nice little board pump for this kind of mid-range idea. And then lastly, we have Mephistopheles. On the front side, he inverts. He's a 8/8 with no real abilities in terms of simple skills, but if you do Judgment, he inverts, and anything your opponent brings into the field comes into play rested, which is pretty interesting. And then inverses to make it so he's a 10/10 with flying, a little board style neg to your opponent's side of the field, and Resonators entering the field on your opponent's side don't cause enter effects. So that's also very, very cool. It's a good little way to stop stuff. Now, one thing to just note about inverse Resonators is on their inverse side, their total cost is 0. So keep that in mind when things like Scheherazade and Black Tears are in the format, as well as Dawn of the Earth could just very quickly wipe the board. Dawn of the Earth also would hit additions that are inverted. Moving into the spells, we play 4 Thought Control. There's not really much to say about this. If you're playing Dark and base, you're probably playing 4 Thought Control. Flourishing Hope and Burgeoning Despair, also your card you're going to see a ton of, especially with Gil Lapis in the format. Being able to protect your J Ruler at instant speed also makes it so you can have like an unkillable blocker, which is awesome. That just turns into a removal spell, which is instant speed, doesn't target, and can get around pretty much everything, and is 2 creatures. So you just get a lot of value out of this card pretty much every time you cast it. Miscalculation, great card to help in the early game. You can destroy an attacking Resonator, and this is also searchable by Gil Lapis. Life-Stealing Altar for some draw power in this deck, which is pretty cool. And then when you invert it, you get to get a stone, and then you also can banish a Resonator. This effect's not so great to give a Resonator -4/-4, but it could be useful to help you like a clear finish off the game. You like poke with a small guy or a flyer, poke with all your flyers, and then you need to get that last bit of damage, so you just banish all your flyers to kill their last remaining blocker or something like that just to finish the game. So pretty interesting. Mainly going to use it for its front side and draw power, but then it's also really nice to get that free stone call when you do a Judgment. We play 4 Forbidden Arts because it's stoning to death, and spot removal for only 2 at instant speed is really good. And then we play 2 Twin Blades of Hope of Despair, which then also becomes the Sword of Fate. You do get to actually kind of use it as you need to in this list. You can do a lot of reanimating with this. Like, for instance, you know, if you have still some mystery counters on your J Ruler or something, you could use Sword of Fate to still get that kill something by bringing back Grim and then immediately doing Judgment, removing those counters and getting the kill spell. Twin Blades of Open Despair also is a great little combat trick card. Keep in mind that you have to have a target on your side and your opponent's side to be able to cast it. But that is the list, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below. I think huge thanks to Tyler for playing this list, even and showing kind of what Inverse is capable of. If you guys were kind of struggling with that, I hope this list helps. And I definitely encourage you guys to play around. It's a very fun mechanic. It's a very fun ruler, and I look forward to seeing what you guys can come up with. Huge thanks to the patrons of the channel. You see their names here on the screen as well as down below in the description. They are what help make this channel run and help me do these awesome projects for you guys. If you feel like joining the channel and getting access to all the cool perks that come with being a patron, click on the P on the screen or the link down below. Thanks so much. See you next time.